Your girl has reached 10 years in the Army. Woo! Good afternoon and welcome back to my video. If you are new here, thank you for clicking on this video. I hope that you like and subscribe and you stick around. And if you are returning, I love you. That means you really mess with me, okay? Thank you for coming to my little corner of the internet. And if you can tell by the title of this video, your girl has reached 10 years in the Army. Woo! Clap it up. Happy 10 years to me. By the time you guys get this video, probably gonna be 10 years in a week, but we made it. I did not think I would be here 10 years later, okay? I joined the military 2 months after graduation in 2014, and I have been stationed in 6 different places, and 10 years later, here I am. But for the sake of this video and for the sake of me being new to the station that I am at right now and currently serving with these people, I will not be rating this duty station within this video. So I am going to rate the 5 duty stations previous to this from like least to best, okay? Totally biased, okay? Because I know there's some things on the internet and people are gonna be like, I can't believe that you would put that at number 5. It's number 1 for me. That's great, okay? But we're talking about me and my experiences, okay? So the things that are going to go into these videos being ranked the way they are is going to be location, leadership, and just my overall experience coming from these places, okay? So when I first joined, I was a chaplain assistant, and I'm now an air traffic control operator. So when it comes to whichever duty station I was at and which job I was at, I will also let you know, okay? Coming in at number 5 would have to be Fort Novosel, Alabama, previously known as Fort Rucker. I think the name changed like last year, maybe this year, I'm not sure. And Novosel is 5 on my list because when I was actually there for the 16 weeks that I was there, it was because I was doing AIT for a second time to become an air traffic controller. Granted, I had freedom because I was already in the military, like I was already an active duty soldier. So I was able to go around and outside and explore. I will say the immediate area around Fort Novosel is not much to do. However, you can travel to Dothan, you can travel to Panama City, Florida. That's pretty much, out there. Florida, obviously right there. Any of those other places that you want to go. But for me, it wasn't, right? It wasn't anything crazy. I did enjoy learning from the instructors, and our drill sergeants at the time were extremely nice. Fort Rucker itself, it did have a lake on it. Fort Novosel itself did have a lake on it, which was really nice. It has like the MWR, but at the time I wasn't really thinking about utilizing all of that stuff. So number 5, Fort Novosel. Number 4 is gonna be Fort Bliss in El Paso, Texas. Okay, this place holds so much love and hate at the same time in my heart. When I was stationed there, I was actually a religious affairs specialist, and it was my second duty station. And the city of El Paso is a beautiful, beautiful city. I would highly recommend anybody who think about retiring or, want a retirement home. El Paso is one of those places where I highly recommend. Their homes are beautiful. They're affordable, at least when I was there. I'm not sure how they are now, but they were very affordable for what you were getting. Yeah. But the thing about Fort Bliss is it's Bliss and El Paso, and then there's nothing. It is at the tip corner of Texas. Okay, it's so far on the other side of Texas. It is in mountain time zone, not even central. Do you hear me? It takes you 12 hours to leave this place from here to the other tip of Texas. It is not travelable by car. Okay, they do have an airport. Stupid expensive to fly in and out from there. I think the nearest city worth doing something is like 2 hours and some change away. California is nearby. If you want to take a long trip, I don't know, being fresh away from home. I was 20, 21. That just wasn't it for me. I could not stand being in what felt like the middle of nowhere. Not feasible for traveling. At the time, I had a officer who was a captain who was my immediate supervisor. Absolutely loved and adored him. Leadership was great. But the place and the people and the soldiers, it just became so toxic feeling. Like I just really wanted to get out of there. But shout out, because I met some of the dopest people I will probably ever meet at Fort Bliss, and they still rock with me to this day. Okay, so coming in at number 3 is Fort Campbell, Kentucky. Okay, 101st Airborne Division, Air Assault, home of Air Assault. Okay, it actually was not bad. It wasn't. And I'm putting this at number 3 because you can travel from here, and it is also on the state line of Kentucky and Tennessee. So it's part of it is in Clarksville, Tennessee, and that's the part that I lived on. Tennessee, beautiful state. Hour away from Nashville. The surrounding area, it still gives you enough people to feel like it's some sort of city, but it's still a lot more pulled back and more calm than Nashville. You can drive to St. Louis and stuff. It's really in that upper part. I can't really explain it. Traveling there, beautiful. The city, beautiful. I recommend it. I worked at the division echelon when I was there, so I was able to really see all the flights and how all of that stuff happened, because at that point I was an air traffic controller, so it's a lot of flights, lot of training. They train a lot. Okay, if you're not ready for that ain't the place for you, because they do train. But other than that, leadership really great. Didn't have really too much bad to say about it, because everybody was really nice. And getting my footing in as being an NCO, that's where I was. So I was able to finally be in charge and stuff like that. So it really helped develop me a little bit as an NCO. So I like that. Now for the last 2 spots, y'all, it was so hard to determine who's gonna go for number 2 and who's gonna go for number 1. Okay, so the last 2 places is Korea and Hawaii. Okay, comment down below which one you think is gonna be number 2 and which one you gonna think is gonna be number 1. Okay, I'll give you a minute. Okay, Coming in at number 2, it is South Korea. And I can't believe I put it at 2. However, when I was there, it was my very first duty station right out of basic and AIT. I was 18 years old when I got there. I turned 19 while I was there. And it was one of the best times of my life. Like, hands down, being away from home, the distance obviously was crazy. I think being landlocked for anybody, as far as like that's where you are, it might feel a little different because, you know, you got North Korea to the front and stuff. However, you can travel to Japan and stuff like that. So I never went, but I've heard only great things about it. I love their food. I love their culture. I love the people that I met there. It really showed me though what to be prepared for in the military. I think being there, it showed me that this is like, the Army is like high school on steroids. It is ridiculous how messy and trashy some people can be as just human beings. Their characters are just not right. However, my leadership, it wasn't horrible. Being a brand new private and in the military, you know, it was just be where you're supposed to be, right time, right place, right uniform. I was a religious affairs specialist at the time. And being there and being a religious affairs specialist, you know, working on those Sundays and those Wednesday nights and stuff, but learning that, oh, I can get time off for this and that. It was really fun. I partied hard. Going to Korea is a single person's duty station, okay? And I remember hearing, if you want to make E5, the quickest way to make E5 is go to Korea as an E6. Anybody in the military watching this and you know what that means, comment down below, okay? Crazy times, but I never got demoted there, and that is all that matters, okay? But whew, a time was had, okay? And coming in at number 1, of course, it is Schofield Barracks, Wheeler Army Airfield in Hawaii, okay? And this is number 1 for me. It's because I've always felt like I belong on somebody's island, okay? And I finally got to be on somebody's island. I lived there for 3 years, and that is where the second half of what I feel like my life began. I met Josh there. I got pregnant for the first time there, had a baby, and I started my family in Hawaii. So Hawaii will always have a special place in my heart. It really feels like home to me in a way. There are, you know, pros and cons. Obviously, you're landlocked. However, you can travel to the other islands for really, really, really cheap. I think like less than $70 sometimes round trip to different islands there. Some people I know don't like it because they feel like they're stuck on an island. The food, it is so delicious. You get food from all types of cultures, and it just blends together so well. I could eat for days, okay? I know my wide back activities are flowing out. The city's set up kind of like, you know, any other state. They have many different places you can travel to in like there on the island. Sometimes it felt like it wasn't a lot to do. However, I realized we didn't even do a lot, and I think it's probably because COVID happened. However, I know a lot of people say you can do everything you want to do in like a month, and that is not true, because I felt like I didn't do a lot. You know, I did skydive there. I went swimming with the sharks while there. So there are very, very many adventurous things to do. So that's why that comes in on as number one on my list, because of my family. However, leadership, it varied. Nothing to the point where I'm like, no, I'm getting out of the military. However, you know, it could have been better in certain places. I was on Schofield as well as Wheeler. Interpost transfer type thing, just went to another unit. But at the time I was ATC, first duty station, leaving Rucker, being an air traffic controller. So it kind of helped me to get my foot and my vibe in how to do the job. But yeah, you guys, that is me rating my duty stations, okay? But if you have made it this far in the video, I thank you so much. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know your duty stations that you've been to, or if you've been to any of these places just traveling, and how much you enjoyed it. And I will see you back here again on another Monday, right? You're here with it, right? Okay. Love you. Bye.